This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And I know that I traditionally do a birthday boy slash girl on a living player at the time of recording, but I couldn't find anyone else for June 5th. I already did June 5th with Robert Kraft and John Carlos, the sprinter. So I decided to go with this guy, Bob Probert. Bob Probert was born June 5th, 1965, so if he was alive, he would be 58 today. Anyway, Bob Probert was a very strong player. He played for Brantford when they had an OHL team before it moved to, I think, Hamilton, right? Yeah, I think it moved to Hamilton. Brantford did, in the OHL team and all that. And then they moved, yeah, I moved to Hamilton to be the Steelhawks. But anyway, he was picked in the third round of the 1983 NHL draft. So it was huge how Probert was picked by the Red Wings. They had picked Joey Kosher too, you know, a pair of goons, if you will. Probert would be the agitator of the Red Wings organization, as he really enjoyed himself. He was actually third in penalty minutes in '86 on the team behind Kosher and Reddy Ladouceur. Of course, Probert didn't really play that many games. In '87, he put up 24 points as a player, but amassed over 220 penalty minutes. 1988 was the pinnacle of his career, both for point scoring and penalty minutes. He actually ended up only scoring 62 points and playing in the All-Star game, but his penalty minutes was huge. He put up 398 penalty minutes. That was the sixth highest single season total in NHL history. So anyway, he actually helped the Red Wings out, scoring the most points in the 1988 Red Wings drive for the Cup, which fell to Edmonton because Steve Yzerman was hurt. So Probert had a good move and all that. So anyway, Probert unfortunately had some problems. On March 1st, 1989, he was arrested for cocaine possession while crossing the Detroit-Windsor border. U.S. Customs agent found 14 grams of cocaine hidden in his underwear. He would spend 3 months in federal prison, 3 months in a halfway house, and was suspended by the NHL. But after his prison term, he was suspended. And it looked like Probert would be deported back to Canada following his conviction. But he filed for an appeal. The appeal process helped him stay with the Red Wings. However, he couldn't play any games north of the border. So he couldn't play in Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto, Quebec, or Montreal for fear of being not allowed to return to the States. So basically his soccer career would have probably ended. Fortunately for Probert, the matter was resolved December 1992, which meant he could cross the border and all that. He was actually an alternate captain for a little bit of time. But unfortunately the law would hurt him and all that. Probert, on July 15th, 1994, had minor injuries when he crashed his motorcycle into a car in Michigan. But his blood alcohol level was triple the legal limit and traces of cocaine. He was an unrestricted free agent at the time. The Red Wings decided to cut loose. Senior VP Jim Valvano says, "This is the end. My 12 years with the organization, we've never spent more time on one player in his Proberts than we have on Probert." So Chicago, surprisingly, 5 days later, decided to sign him to a deal. But it was on an inactive status because of his issues and all that. He would sit out the 95 season because of this, but would join the Hawks. He put up 40 points in the season. However, his points and penalty minutes, his points would decrease, and his penalty minutes actually decreased too. Well, he didn't really play that much. He had many fights with other enforcers and all that. He actually missed part of the 98 season with a torn rotator cuff, and it's like, a rotator cuff on a hockey player? Doesn't fight anything. All that. Probert admitted he was an enforcer, and he was a protector. All that. One time, Kevin McGuire of the Sabres attacked the Iserman, but Probert sucker punched him. Anyway, he would have a rivalry with Wendell Clark. Of course, Detroit, Toronto being in the same division. It was huge. He would have big fights with Ty Domi of the Rangers after Ty Domi somehow beat him in a fight. Probert got his belt back and all that. He would have some fights with Stu Grimson. He would actually fight his former teammate Joey Kosher. December 93 when there was a giant brawl. All that. He would fight Donald Brashear for a while, Scott Parker, Jody Shelley. So, yeah. He did have community involvement. He actively supported young hockey players in the community and would buy tickets for kids who couldn't afford to go to Red Wing games. So anyway, he tried his best with the Blackhawks and all that. In fact, he's the guy who has the last goal at Maple Leaf Gardens in history. February 13th, 1999, the last goal was not scored by a Leaf, it was scored by a Blackhawk. Okay, but by Bob Probert of all freaking people? Could have been Doug Gilmour. Could have been Chris Chelios. Oh no, wait, Chelios wasn't with the Hawks at that time. Or was he? I don't think so. But anyway, still. Creepy. So anyway, he was placed on waivers after the 2002 season. And basically started to retire to join the Blackhawks radio broadcasting team. Hold up. He put up 3,300 penalty minutes, finishing 4th on the penalty minutes list at the time. Unfortunately, his broadcast radio team thing did not last long as he went back to rehab. So, anyway. He actually was working on a memoir with Christy McClellan Day, who actually co-wrote Bill Fleury's autobiography, Playing with Fire. But after Probert's death, the book was in limbo, but Probert's wife Danny said that it should happen. So Tough Guy, My Life on the Edge was published October 2010. He would routinely go to charity games and all that. He was there when Steve Yzerman's number 19 was retired by the Red Wings. So, anyway. Probert did everything. He was actually a cameo as a hockey player in The Love Guru. You know that Mike Myers feature that had the Leafs win the Stanley Cup and all that? He wore number 28 for that team. And Probert participated in Canada's figure skating reality show Battle of the Blades, which had figure skating pairs of male hockey players and female figure skaters. Probert was partnered with Christina Lenko. Unfortunately, legal problems would harm him and all that. But while on a boating trip on Lake St. Clair with his children, father-in-law, and mother-in-law, Probert had severe chest pain and collapsed. His stepfather-in-law actually was chief of police in Cornwall, attempted CPR to save his life. He was rushed to Windsor's hospital with no vital signs. Unfortunately, he was pronounced dead later that afternoon. So July 5th, 2010, he passed away. There was a funeral July 9th, 2010, and many of his former teammates and fighting opponents came in to support him and all that. Even the Red Wings owners, the eulogists, came by. Yzerman delivered the eulogy, and his funeral procession was led by a group of 54 motorcyclists. Probert was survived by his wife and 4 children, and that his brain would actually be donated to the Sports Legacy Institute to study concussions and other head injuries. And there was evidence by Boston University that there was CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, in Probert's brain. When Joe Louis Arena had its final hockey game, Probert's family spread his ashes in the Red Wings penalty box. So, anyway. also he played in the OHL. He played in the NHL for both Detroit and Chicago. A two-team guy, which was shocking. He would play only 935 games in the NHL with 384 points, but 3,300 penalty minutes was huge. He's now 5th all-time in penalty minutes. He put up 48 points in 81 playoff games, 274 penalty minutes. So yeah, he's still the Red Wings franchise holder for career penalty minutes, over 2,000 of them, and penalty minutes of the season, 398 and 88. But man, Bob Probert was an icon and all that. If you want to know, he's 5th behind Tiger Williams, Dale Hunter, Ty Domi, and Marty McSorley. So that's who he's behind in the list. And fortunately, though, there's no current players who have had 2,000 penalty minutes. So that's good in a sense. But yeah, Bob Probert was a tough guy. And even though that he got himself into trouble off the ice and ruined his career a bit, he still was a protector. A protector at heart he shall be. Remembered us. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.